Okay. Arat and Murat, how are you guys? Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Very good. So today, how did you join this class? With PC or still with your telephone?
PC.
PC. Then why can't I see your face?
Ah, okay.
I joined with telephone.
It's much better if I see your face. At this, I can know who actually I'm teaching here. How about Murat? Murat, can we see your face?
1 minute, please.
Okay. Actually, somebody sent me assignment. Who is that guy? Wait, just a minute. Let me reconnect. Okay. Oh, here is much better. Okay, when you bored, when you are tired, at that time you can turn off your camera. You can have some rest. Okay, until you get tired, just keep it on, and it's much better if I see your face, guys. Somebody sent me his assignments in WhatsApp. Who is it? Murat, is it you or
Me.
Arat?
It was me.
Okay, Arat.
It was my page, yes.
Okay, Arat, actually, your file name is OHW. Okay.
Yes.
So when you are sending assignments, all right, you should not change the file name. In this way, it's easy for me to have a look and check. And otherwise, I'm teaching more students. I mean, I may get confused. So for example, your first assignment name, what is it? Here it is A1 exercise something. It is 1ABC, right? Let's say ABC. So after you finish this, maybe your file name should be exact the same. And after that, you can write your name. What is your name here? Write Aras. Okay. And send me like this. In this way, I can check easily your homework. All right. If you just have, for example, different file names, when I just put in a folder, it may be a bit hard to classify your assignments and where to put this. Okay. Guys, let's start. And good to see you again. Last time, actually, we started this course with quadratic equations. We did a few examples. I mean, solved quadratic equations by factorization method. And after that, we studied the completing the square method, right? And after that, actually, we obtained a general formula to solve any quadratic equation. And that much knowledge is actually is enough to solve any kind of what is this quadratic equation or any equation that can be reduced to quadratic equation. But now it depends on your skill. To improve our skill, right, we need to practice more different problems, not the same problem, because the standard question solving again and again, it does not teach you anything, right? We need to try to solve some non-standard questions. When you look at the question, the idea does not come. This kind of questions actually, it really improves your thinking skill. Anyway, I will actually give you some this kind of questions, but a bit later. But now we need to get some knowledge. So we will continue. Today, guys, we will talk about problems involving quadratic equations. And what is it? We can use the techniques of solving quadratic equations to solve many practical problems. And here, the challenge is not using the formula. The challenge is understanding the problem. And a lot of students, you are maybe good students in math. Usually a lot of students have problems in solving this kind of equations. I mean, questions because they don't understand the problem. And why we don't understand the problem, number one, it may be because of our vocabulary. Sometimes you just read it. Maybe it is in your own language, you may understand, right? But after all, this is English. This is not your first language. And even if you know, we may not know the mathematical meaning, right? Because after all, a lot of words, when it is used in math, even English teachers, they don't understand if they have no idea about the definition of those words. Okay. For example, natural number. And ask an English teacher, do they know what is natural number? They don't know, right? Integer, for example, what is it? Or consecutive positive numbers, what is it? These are mathematical terms. So that's why if you don't understand these words, then we cannot solve. That's the main challenge in solving this kind of problems. Once you understand this, and once you actually convert or translate this word problem into equation, the rest is easy. So that step is the most challenging one. Read the question, understand it, and convert this into mathematical problem or equation. Okay, so here we will practice not solving quadratic equations. We'll practice understanding the problems. Okay, let's start. We have a few questions here I put, and after that I will send more questions. You will practice yourself. So the product of two consecutive positive odd numbers is 195. Find the numbers. So here, by product, we know that it is multiplication. Two consecutive positive odd numbers. These are the odd numbers followed by another one, right? So if
Yes.
here also we are talking about positive odd numbers. We know that actually, let me just write here, solution. Solution. We know that the 1, 3, 5, dot, dot, these are positive odd numbers, right? Odd number means a
Yes.
number that is not divisible by 2. Or when you divide by 2, the remainder is 1. These numbers are called odd numbers. So we are talking about any two consecutive odd numbers. We don't know what is it. If you just continue here, maybe that number is, the first number is n. If the first number is n, what will be the next number? Since the difference between these two terms is 2, it should be n plus 2, dot, dot. And these two numbers are consecutive. Why? Because they are adjacent to each other, or one followed by. And here it says product. That means that we are talking about this, n times n plus 2, right? The product of two consecutive positive odd numbers is 195. As you see here, until here, that's the challenging part. After that, as you see, we know how to solve. It's just a quadratic equation. And what is it? One way is also I can use guess and try method, because we know that the roots are whole numbers. And can I just write this 195 as a product of two odd numbers? Yes. What is it? N times n plus 2. We can write it as, if I write 15 times 15, 225, it is quite big. How about 13 times 15, 10 times 15, 150? It works, right? So we can write it as 13 times 15. So it is, the difference is 2. Since it is positive,
Yes.
actually we can get another answer, but it will be negative. So here, dot, 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 what are those numbers? Those numbers are 13 and 15. Okay, this is very simple question. Arat, can you read this? It's just a vocabulary, because to solve the next question, you need to have some idea about this. That's why I put it here. Arat, read it.
The certificate of
Entitlement.
or
Entitlement.
COE is a quasi-license received from a successful winning bid in an open bid uniform
Bids.
price
Open bids.
which grant the legal rights of the holder to register, own, and use a vehicle in Singapore for a period of 10 years. When demand is high, the cost of COE can exceed the value of their car itself.
Okay. Anyway, what you have to understand here is the term that COE. What is it? It's just certificate of entitlement. It's about, for example, if you're doing some kind of car business, let's say you import cars to Singapore or maybe Azerbaijan, doesn't matter. When you import a car, can you just bring it? Let's say you import a car from USA, right? When you're importing a car or cars, let's say, when you bring it into your country, can anybody use that car in the country? No, right? Number one, you need to pay tax to the government. And number two, you need to get a number plate, right? and after that it is registered by the government, then you can you can use that car in the country. Without this, nobody can drive a car. It is something like this. Also in Singapore, if you are doing some kind of business, let's say car business, and you are importing cars from other countries, and to be able to sell those cars or use them in Singapore, you need to get the special license from the government. Let's say it's called here COE. Okay, so to get this one, you need to pay money. In Singapore, it's a very small country, and cars are very expensive, and everything's expensive. That's why it's not so easy to get this one. Anyway, so now we have this question. The manager of reliable car rental, just is the name of the company. So we don't have to understand detail the name of the company. Paid a total of $1.12 million for a number of certificates of entitlement, COEs, at the onset of the Asian economic crisis in 1997. And onset means when it starts, right? 1 year later, he found that the successful bidding price of COE has gone down by $11,000 each, and that he could get 12 more COEs by paying an extra $40,000 for them, compared to the previous year. Find the number of COEs the manager purchased in 1997 and the price of each COE then. Anyway, this kind of problems usually when you read for the first time, you may not understand. So we should just read quickly. You don't have to understand every detail. And the second time when you're reading this, then we try to understand, okay, which are important words, keywords, and form our equation and solve this. Okay, so now how do we solve this? As you see here, when we get the equation, solving equation is easy, but understanding the problem is actually a big challenge. In the future also, you will see that you have a problem, you have to model it, maybe a problem in physics, problem in astronomy, and once you model this, you can solve this. That modeling, understanding the problem is actually the most, difficult thing. Anyway, so manager paid a total of 1.12 million for a number of certificates, right? A number, how many, we don't know. Assume that in 1997, in that year, you import maybe n cars, and for each you paid how much? Also, I don't know. For each certificate, you paid, let's say, X $1,000. Let me just write here because this X is in thousands. Okay, because the big numbers. X means if it is 5, it means 5,000. If it is 8, 8,000. Anyway, for total, how much did we pay? 1.12 million. That is 1.12 million. If we just write this also in thousands, here we will have 1,000, right? Because 1 million has 6 zeros. Since we are counting everything in thousands, right? So this X thousands, here we have that many thousands. So continue. 1 year later, right? It's saying that 1 year later, he found that the successful bidding. Now next year also he's going to buy some cars, and bidding price of COE has gone down by 11,000. So 1 year later means in 1998, right? And the price of the certificate gone down by 11,000. So now it was X dollars, here $8,000. Here next year, it was 11,000 cheaper. So minus 11, because everything is thousands, 11,000 is just 11 each. And that he could get 12 more COEs. In 1997, he actually purchased N. Now, because the price is cheaper, so he could get 11 more, XM plus 11, right? And by paying an extra 40,000 for them. So he's paying 40,000 more than the last year. So here that is equal to 1120. Now this year he's paying 1120 plus 40,000 more. Here we have 40,000. That is understanding the problem and interpreting or translating into mathematical language. And the rest is we need to solve this equation. What is the question here? The question is find the number of COEs the manager purchased in 1997 and the price of each COE. That means that we need to find the value of N, and also we need to find the individual price. That's X. Okay. Arad, if you have any questions, you can stop and ask anytime.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Why you wrote in front of 199.8 m plus 11? Why didn't you write m plus 12?
It should be 12, right?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. That's correct. Because he could get 12 more, so it should be 12. You are right. Otherwise, we would get the wrong answer. Good. So now we need to solve this question then. Solving part, that's the first step. Our second step, now we have to solve it. Okay, here the first equation is n times x, that's equal to 1120. Second equation is, if you remove the brackets, n times x, here we have nx, n times 11 minus 11, and 12 times x plus 12x. Okay, here we have 12x, and 12 times 11, that's 1 minus 10 times 12, it is 120, and that is 132. On the right hand side, we have 1120 plus 40. Okay, intentionally I'm not adding this because I'm going to cancel out this nx and 1120, because here nx equals 1120, right? So this nx and the 1120, they cancel out each other. So now let's just find x from here. So here we have 12x minus 11 times n. What is n from here? N is equal to n equals 1120 over x. So here we have 1120 over x. And plus and minus 132, take 40 to the left hand side, that is minus 172. That's equal to 0. And if you multiply both sides by x, here we have 12x squared minus 172x minus 11 times, let me just keep it like this, 11 times 1120, that's equal to 0. Is that right, Arat?
What?
Is it right? Did we make any mistake? Are we okay?
Yes.
Good. Now we have just quadratic equation. We know how to solve this. We have the formula, right? So let's find discriminant equals 172 squared minus 4 times 12 times minus 11 times 1120.
12,320. The 11 times 1,000.
172 squared plus 48 times 11 times 1120. That's equal to 620,944. And what is the square root of the answer? That's equal to 788 squared. So that's equal to 788 squared. Okay, so from here, x1 will be equal to 172 minus, let's find first, plus 788 over, here we have 2 times 12, which is equal to, okay, 172 plus 788, and is divided by 24. That's equal to 40. 40. And x2, actually, if you just substitute here, 172 minus 788, it will be negative, right? So this will be rejected. Why rejected? Because we are talking about the price, right? And the number of cars. So it must be positive. So that's why it is rejected. Now from here, our conclusion is dot, dot, dot. The value of x must be 40. If x is 40, let me just write here, x equals 40. Actually, it is 40,000, right? Let me just write here 40K, because x were counted in thousands. Actually, $40,000. And how many cars? To find this one, just we need to divide 1120, divide by 40, that's equal to 28. So n is equal to 28. That means that he bought how many certificates? 28 certificates. That means that that company can import 28 cars in that year, or could import that many cars in that year. Okay, Murat? I mean, Arat. I don't know where is Murat. Any question, Arat?
No.
Good. Let's continue then. Okay, Arad, read the question.
A man travels a distance of 196 kilometers by train and return in a car which travels at an average speed of 21 kilometers per hour, faster than a train. If the total journey takes 11 hours, find the average speed of the train and the car respectively.
Okay. A man travels a distance of 196 kilometers by train. Okay, here let's say this destination actually here from this point, town A, let's say A to town B, right? And from town A to town B, let's say, let me just write here, from town A to town B, he's going by train first, right?
100
What is the distance?
train.
Distance is 196. Distance is 196 kilometers. And how about from B to A? He is actually traveling by car. Returns in a car, which travels at an average speed of 21 kilometers per hour faster than the train. Okay, now here, if the total journey takes 11 hours, find the average speed of the train and the car respectively. So, what is the average speed of the train? We don't know. Let's say it is X. Also, I can use C. S doesn't matter. And time taken to travel from A to B is, let's say it is T. And actually he just returns from B to A by car. The distance remains unchanged, right? Now tell me, Arat, what is the speed of the car here? What should I write here?
11 times, I mean x plus 21 times 11.
X plus 21 times
T minus 11 minus T.
11 minus T, right? Because total time is 11 hours. So T hours we have already used to travel from A to B. For returning from B to A, now we have to spend the remaining time, which is 11 minus T. Again, we got two equations here. Let me just draw a line from here and continue. So now we need to solve this. The second equation, so we need to find actually X, right? So since we have to find X, we have to, how to say, eliminate T from the equations because we are not asked to find T. So from the first equation, the T is equal to 196 over X. And substitute in the second equation, here we will have X plus 21 and 11 minus, what is T? 196 over X. On the right hand side, we have 196. And we are hoping that also it is reducible to quadratic equation. Right now, still we are not sure it's a quadratic equation or not. By just doing some algebraic manipulation, let's see what we actually end up with. So x times 11, here we have 11x, right? And x times minus 196 over x, that's equal to minus 196. And plus 11 times 21, what is it? It is 10 times 21, 210 plus 21, it is 231, right? And minus, here we have 21 times 196 over x. And also take 196 to the left hand side. Here we have 196. On the right hand side, we have 0. Okay, first let's simplify this. Here we have minus 196 minus 196. That is, what is it? Minus 196 minus 196 and plus 231. That's equal to minus 261, right? And also multiply by x. So here we have 11x squared. And here we have, okay, this number. And here we have minus 261x. And here we have minus 21 times, okay, let me just keep it like this. Right now, I don't need to calculate this. That's equal to 0. Now we got a quadratic equation. And it's already in standard form, right? Ax squared plus bx plus c. So we can solve it by using a formula. Okay, what is our delta here? 261 squared minus, actually this minus minus, it becomes plus. I can just write here plus, right? 4 times 11 times 21 times 196. And big numbers, we can use calculator. 261 squared plus 44 times 21 times 196, which is equal to big number. It is 24,925. And what is the square root of this answer? It is something. It's not a whole number. I can just keep it like this then. Okay.
Teacher, it shouldn't be minus before 4.
Minus where?
Before 4.
So actually here we have minus
26
4 times AC, right?
is-
Minus 4. Also here we have minus, so it is plus. That's why actually I just did this mentally, because here if it is minus, you can just multiply the signs mentally, so that actually our question becomes less confusing. And after that, just write the numbers. So here x1 will be equal to 261 plus square root of 249,225 over what we have here, 2 times 11, 22. And the second answer will be 261 minus 249,225 over, what is it, 22. Okay, Arad, are you calculating this? 261 plus square root of 249 and 225 over 22. That's equal to 34.55, but let's just write correct the one decimal place. It is 34.6 kilometers per hour, one decimal place. And how about the second one? I think the second one will be minus. So that is minus. We don't have to even calculate this. From here we can see that it is 0, so it is rejected. Because as you know, speed is always positive, right? Because speed means absolute value of velocity, right? Velocity may be negative or positive because also it has direction, but speed is always positive. So what is our final answer? Let me just write here dot 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 car speed. Let's say this one is S1, this one is S2. S1 is equal to 34.6 kilometers per hour. That's the speed of the train, right? And S2, the speed of the car is just plus 21. So it is 55.6 kilometers per hour. The average speed of these vehicles, right? Okay.
Okay.
Good. Guys, now we have a few more questions. I will skip some of them, okay? Because, I mean, if you want, we can solve this. If it is okay, I will skip this. Some easy questions. This is from exercise 1F. It is not 6, it's 1F actually. I don't know why it's, okay. All right. So I just skip solving part of some questions. Some questions we just solve them completely. And okay, the product of two consecutive odd numbers is 255. Find the numbers. So since we're talking about two odd numbers, the first number is n, second number should be m plus 2. It is 255. So Murat, can you tell me two odd numbers whose product is 255?
1 minute, please.
Actually, how do we evaluate this? First, the square of, for example, let's say 16, right? What is the square of 16? It is 256. So since the last digit is 5, those numbers must be close to 16. Then we should check, what is it? 13 times 15 or 15 times 17. Right. And what is 15 times 17? 15 times 15 is 225, and 2 times 15 is 30. So it works. So here,
15 times 17.
17. And two consecutive odd numbers. Here it does not say actually it is positive or negative, right? And also I can write it as n times n plus 2 as negative 17 times negative 15.
Yes, of course.
So dot, dot, dot. Then we have two possible answers. Those numbers are 15 and 17, or
Minus
minus
17
17
bracket.
and minus 15. And that's why we should be careful here because it doesn't say positive. Okay, let's move to the next question. Murat, you read it. Let's at least listen to hear your voice. Read it.
The numerator of a fraction is 2 less than its denominator. When both numerator and denominator are increased by 3, the fraction is increased by 3 over 20. Find the original fraction.
Okay. So here we are talking about a kind of fraction, right? When we just add, it says that when both numerator and denominator are increased by 3. So the fraction is increased. First, let's say, suppose our original fraction is, actually not this one.
X minus 2 over x.
The numerator of a fraction is 2 less than its denominator, right? So here, if this one is x, denominator should be x plus
X
2.
plus 2.
This is our original fraction, right? And here, if I add 3 to
X
both
plus
numerator and
3.
denominator, here we have x plus 3, and here we have x plus 5. But now it's saying that when both numerator and denominator are increased by 3, the fraction is increased, right? So that means that the second fraction, this is our first fraction, this is our second fraction, and second fraction is bigger than the first fraction. So
Yes.
that means that the difference, right? X plus 3 over x plus 5 minus
Minus
x over x plus 2, it should be equal to 3
3 over 20.
20. Because sometimes even if you don't understand this, if you just write it like x over x plus 2 minus x plus 3 over x plus 5, then we will not get a right answer. And that's why we should be careful here. So usually in many different ways we can solve this. How can we solve this? Usually in this kind of questions, I simplify the left hand side and express
Yes.
this as a single fraction, and after that cross multiply. And okay, so if you just simplify this, what we have here? Here we have x plus 3,
5
x plus
x
2
plus 2
minus x, x
x
plus 5
plus 5
over, here we have x plus 2 and the x plus 5. That's equal to 3 over 20. Okay, actually I should draw a line here next time. Anyway,
x
so if you simplify the numerator, we can just do them mentally. Here we have x squared minus x
x
squared. They
squared
cancel each
is
other. Here we have
5
5x, also 5x, they cancel each other. What we have here? We have only 6 left, right?
6. Yes.
And here we have, and also let me just
X
do the cross multiplication at the same time. So here we will have 3 times, what do we have here? X squared
plus
plus 7x plus
7x 10.
on the right hand side, we have 20 times 6. 6 times 20. Or divide both sides by 3. So here we have x squared plus 7x, and
7x
40, 10 minus 40, it is minus 30, right?
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yes.
How did you get 6?
Here, if you simplify this fraction, what do we have here? 6, right?
Ah, you simplified them. Okay.
Yeah, if you simplify here, we have x squared plus 3x, 2x, it is 5x plus 6. And here we have minus x squared minus 5x, right? So these things, they cancel out each other, and also 5x. So on the left-hand side, we have 6. Then when you cross multiply, here we have 6 times 20, right? But I wrote it on the right-hand side. Okay?
Shouldn't become minus 110 if you bring it to there.
No, here, okay, after doing this, what we have here? Here we have something like this, right? 6 over x squared plus 7x
No,
plus 10.
I mean, like if you multiply 6 by 120, it become 120, and the other side is 30. Why is minus 30? It shouldn't be minus 90.
No, actually, I divided both sides by 3. If you divide both sides by 3, what do we have here? Here we have, it is 6 over 3. It's 2. 2 times 20 is 40, right? And take 40 to the left-hand side. 10 minus 40 is minus 30. All right, all right.
Yes, just the voice didn't come, so I confused here.
Now, did you get it?
Yes.
Good. Because I just give some calculations I did mentally. Actually, also you need to practice to do this so that we can solve questions faster. Anyway,
I used mentally, but you didn't. The voice is not coming good, so.
Okay, good. So here we can actually first try. Let's try to solve this by factorization. If it doesn't work, then we will use a formula. So 30. I think we can do this, right? It's 10 times negative 3, and the 7 is 10 plus negative 3. So the product of these numbers equals this constant term, and 10 plus negative 3 equals 7. So we can factorize it as x minus 3, x plus 10 is equal to 0. From here, either x equals negative 10 or x equals 3. So now we have two possible answers then. If x equals 3, substitute here 3 plus 3, 3 over 3 plus 2. So that is 3 over 5, right? Or the second possible answer is if x equals negative 10, here we have negative 10 over negative 10 plus 2 is negative 8, which is equal to 5 over 4. So either that original fraction is either it is 3 over 5 or 5 over 4. So we have two possible answers here.
The denominator is the fraction is 2 less, but the second one is only 1 less. It is 1 more.
No, actually, our answer is this, Murat.
You simplified it. Okay.
If you simplify, it becomes this, but we need to show this like this because it's just a fraction, right? Minus 10 is 2 less than minus 8.
Because it's minus, it should be more. But here it said it's less.
No. Here, minus 10. Here we have minus 10, negative 10, and here we have negative 8, right? And the negative 10, right? 2 units to the left of negative 8. So that means the negative 10 is 2 less than negative 8. Say again?
There are two answers. There are two correct answers.
No. Arad is saying that here in the question is saying that the numerator of a fraction is 2 less than the denominator, right? He's asking that is this negative 10 2 less than negative 8? Yes.
Should we check if we increase by 3, it will increase by 3 over 20?
Arad, you are saying that this minus 10 over minus 8 is not the answer?
No, I said one of them is answer because it said we should check as well if we increase by 3, the fraction increase by 3 over 2.
Okay, let's check this. Look, I'm saying that, let me, all right. So check the answers. So here, our fraction is, let's say, minus 10 over minus 8, right? New fraction is if we increase by 3. Increase means we have to add. So here we have minus 10 plus 3 over minus 8 plus 3, which is equal to minus 7 over minus 5, right? Is it? So now if you find the difference, what we have here, let's say the difference, minus 7 over minus 5 minus the first original fraction, minus 10 over minus 8. Let's calculate this. What do we have here? Here we have 7 over 5. It is plus, it is minus. Simplify this by 2. Here we have 5 over 4 equals, common denominator is 20. 7 times 4 is 28. 5 times 5 is 25. And which is equal to 3 over 20.
It works.
That means that we have to answer because no conditions given about the sign or the type of fraction, right? Any fraction. Is it a fraction? Minus 10 over minus 8? It's a fraction. Right? Any number written in this form, we call this a fraction, providing that b is not equal to 0. What is a and b? Integer, any integer. Okay?
Okay.
Good. Guys, do you want to have a break or shall we continue? We have 17 minutes left.
Continue.
Okay, let's continue. All right. Just 1 minute break. Let me drink some water. We will continue, okay? Arad, do you do any sport? What is your favorite sport?
Formula 1.
Formula 1. Only one sport?
Yes.
But do you
Actually,
practice the
before-
Formula 1?
But no, actually before I do, but now I don't.
Murat, how about you?
What about
Sport. What's your favorite sport?
football only? Sometimes basketball too.
Sometimes basketball. What does it mean? You know, actually, the teacher asked one student, you're answering my question like this. Hey, Mr. Murat, can you swim? And the student answered, yes, sometimes. And the student answered, teacher asked, what do you mean by sometimes? And the student said, I can swim if there is water. If there's no water, I cannot swim. So Murat, like that, if there are people and basketball courts, basketball is your favorite sport, right? Otherwise, it's not your favorite sport. Is that so?
Actually, I mean, I like to watch basketball, but not playing like that.
Okay.
Only watching.
Good. I'm a tennis player. I play tennis, badminton, and ping pong. I also play football, but not much. My favorite sport is tennis. So one day if we meet, I don't know, actually, I don't think you play tennis there.
Actually, my tennis is good.
Huh?
Actually, my tennis is good.
You mean court tennis, big tennis?
Yes. Like when I was in Iran, I was going to the team, but yeah, then I came here.
Oh, nice. Very good. Tennis is very good sport. Guys, let's continue. Let's at least 3 more questions, and after that you'll practice yourself. The altitude of a triangle is 6 centimeters greater than its base. If its area is 108 centimeters squared, find its base. Anyway, the question is easy, but here to be familiar with the mathematical terms here. So we are talking about kind of triangle. Let's say this is our triangle. And the base is, okay, if they are find its base. So we don't know its base. Let's say this x. The altitude, right? It says that's 6 centimeters greater. So it is x plus 6. The area is 108. So the area equals 1 over 2 times base times altitude or height. That's equal to 108.
108.
And if you just solve this, we will get the base of the triangle. Another one, the length and breadth of a rectangle are x plus 4 centimeters and x centimeters respectively. Okay. Write down expression for the perimeter of the rectangle, the length of the side of a square with the same perimeter. If the sum of the areas of the square and the rectangle is 94, find x. Okay, let's just do this one by one. Number one, we are talking about a rectangle, right? So that is, this is our rectangle.
Yes.
4x plus 8.
So The length is x plus
X
4,
plus 4,
width is
X.
x. The first part, A, is saying that write down expressions for the perimeter of the rectangle. So what is the perimeter of the rectangle? It is 2 times length
X
plus width,
X,
which is
yes.
equal to, let me just write here, 2 times 2x
2x plus 4.
or even I can simplify this or remove the brackets, 4x plus 8. Okay, that's the perimeter of this rectangle. And now in part B, write down the expression for the length of the side of a square with the same perimeter, right? So in part B, we're talking about a square, some kind of square here. And I don't know its side, all sides are equal. Let's
Yes.
say its side is y, and also y, and y, right? And it says that the length of the side of the square with the same perimeter. So what is the
Y
perimeter?
equal
Let's say this
to
P1
X plus 2.
for y, right? That's equal to 4x plus 8.
4x plus 8.
So we need to write the expression for
Y is equal to x plus 2.
That's correct. And the last part, actually, you don't have C. Let me just put C here. Doesn't matter. If the sum of the areas of the square and the rectangle is 9 and 4, we need to find the value of x. So let's say this one is capital A1. This one is capital A2. It says that A1 plus A2. That's equal to 94. What is A1? A1 is x
Times x plus 4.
4. Plus, what is A2? Y squared, right? It is x plus 2 squared, 94. Now, if you simplify this, here we have x squared, here we have x squared. So here we have 2x squared, and here we have 4x. Also here we have 4x. It is 8x, and
4.
Here we have 4. Take 94 to the left-hand side. Here we have minus
90
is equal to 0. Before solving this, as you see, we can simplify it further. Divide by 2.
Divide 2 x
plus
squared
4x minus 45 is equal to 0. And I think we can solve this by factorization. 45, it is a product of
9 minus 5.
9 and 5, right? So that is x plus 9 and x minus 5, which is equal to 0. From here, x equals 5 or x equals negative 9. And the second answer is rejected, because x is the length right here. We do not use negative number to measure the length. So dot, the value of x is 5. Good. All right, can you read the question? Maybe this is our last question.
A wire of the length 200 centimeters is cut into 2 parts, and each part is bent to form a square. If the area of the larger square is 9 times than the smaller square, find the perimeter of the larger square.
Okay. It's also, this kind of question comes in a lot of books to practice this quadratic equation. So it's saying that here we are given a piece of wire which is 200 centimeters, right? Also, I can just write it as 2 meters, doesn't matter. Okay, should we use 2 meters? I think that's much better, right? So 200 centimeters, let me use simpler unit that's equal to 2 meters, right? So we just cut this into 2 parts. Let's say the first part is x meters, and the second part will be then, what is it? 2 minus x meters, right? And using these 2 pieces now, we are forming a square. Let's say the first part is longer, then we form a bit bigger square. And using the second part, we form a smaller square. All sides are equal.
X over 4, the first one.
So, Murat, what is the side of the first square? Can you tell me in terms of x?
Sides?
Yeah, what is the length of one side of this square? Actually, I made the square using the first piece, right? If the length of this wire is x, and using this wire, we made the square, what is the length of one side of this square?
X over 4.
Very good. How about the second one?
2 minus x over 4.
Okay, done. The first part is done. And it says that if the area of the largest square is 9 times that of the smallest square. So that means that if this area is A and this area is B,
4,
what is
9.
B? B is equal to 9A. Then find the perimeter of the largest square. So that means that we need to find what is the largest square here. It is this one, right? And what is the perimeter of this one? It is X. So we have to find X. Because when you're using variable, actually we have to use this wisely. So the X, when I solve the equation, I will get X. So anyway, what is B? B is X over 4 squared, right?
Yes.
On the right hand side, we have 9 times. And what is A?
2
2
minus
minus X over 4 squared.
square. We can unsquare the two sides.
Now we should expand.
Okay, but I'm going to use this method to solve this one. What do we have here? We have something like this. Here we have X squared is equal to N squared times Y squared, right? As you see here, something squared, 3 squared, and something squared here, something like this. So that means that what is X here? Then X should be equal to plus minus N times Y, right?
Yes.
But
So
why
using
n
this,
squared?
But cannot be minus in this situation.
yeah, why?
Because size cannot be the minus.
Okay.
But in the future, maybe the expansion gives a negative answer, then the positive becomes negative.
All right, you're right. Because here, this X over 4, it represents the side length. 2 minus X over 4 also, it is the length, right? That's why this X over 4 cannot be equal to negative number. So directly from here, we can just ignore that condition. I mean, that's part. So,
But there's something else as well. If x be so much big, the answer like it will become negative. So negative number times 3, it becomes negative. So it becomes negative
no.
number.
All right, here, the point is, here we have X over 4, right? Let me just write like this. Here we have something like this. A squared equals 9 times B squared. And what is A? A is the side of this square. And what is B? B is the side of the square. In general, how do you solve this equation? We need to solve like this, right? A equals 3B, or A equals minus, sorry, A equals minus 3 times B. But we know that here B is positive, right? A is positive, and here we have negative number. On the left hand side, we have positive. On the right hand side, we have negative number. So this cannot be the solution of this question. And that's why we are ignoring this. If actually we don't know anything about A and B, at the time we have to consider these two cases, right? For this particular case, we know that actually this is not the solution. It doesn't give us any solution. This is what Murat is saying here. Okay, so considering this, then we will have here X over 4 will be equal to 3 times 2 minus X over 4. 4 cancels each other. X equals 6 minus 3X. So from here, what is X? X equals 3 over 2, or 1.5 meters. So the perimeter of the largest square is 1.5 meters. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Guys, let me stop here. And I want to say something before I finish the class. All right, and Murat, I think maybe in your school, you are smart students, maybe your math is good, you want to learn something more. That is what I understand from this, okay? So now, as I told you once again, this is our first stage, and it is like get knowledge periods, okay? So we have to go through the topics very quickly, and after that, maybe we'll learn more things. And after each chapter, you're going to have some kind of exam, okay? At that time, I will see your level. Right now, I know that actually I can feel that you are really good in math, but still, I don't know exactly what is your level out of 100. Not the school level, okay? Because you should be more than school level. School program, I mean the problems, math question in the school, not only grade 9. Now you are grade 9, right?
Yeah, now, yes, I am now.
Yes, good. Not grade 9. Actually, by the end of maybe next year, let's say 2021, 21, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, and if you have grade 12 in Azerbaijan, I don't know how many years you studied in high school. Actually,
11,
those
yes.
11 or 12?
11.
11.
Mm,
Okay, that's great. Let's say then 10, 11, all math questions. It must be piece of cake for you. Okay. And
okay.
in the first stage, this is how, if you really want to be good in math and want to be good in math, what do you mean by this? Actually, you are building your foundation of your future now. You will see that actually when you go to university, wherever you study, maybe you study in UK or Singapore or USA, wherever you study, actually, this will help you a lot. And you will see your difference between you and yourself and other students. And that's why just study a little bit harder. I mean, keep working and don't lose your interest. It will pay off very soon. And I'm just sharing my experience. This is what I studied when I was preparing for math Olympiad. In like 6 months, I covered all the topics when I was grade 9. I started grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, all everything. And after that, I started solving non-standard questions. And that's why now I'm giving homework, Arad and Murat. Look at the questions. If they are standard questions, formula, you don't have to solve all of them, okay? Skip. But these
Okay.
word problems, try to solve all of them. In this way, also you improve your English, number one, your vocabulary, number two, and your understanding skill, number three. And also you will be familiar with more and more mathematical terms. And another thing is now I'm also going to share the answers to chapter 1, 2, and 3. Okay, solve it and check the answer. If it is correct, good. If it is not correct, you may try one more time. Still, if you have different answer, you can bring those questions to this class and we have discussion here. Okay,
Okay.
all right. That much is enough for you guys. Thank you very much. I'll send you maybe some extra homework today. As much as you can, okay? If you cannot finish on time, it's fine. But as much as you can, try to solve the questions, but fast. Speed is really important. Okay,
Okay.
that's enough for today, guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. See you next Tuesday, right?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Bye-bye.